Hello, my name is Emily Milbach. We might not like to admit it, but we have a hard time facing uncomfortable facts. Facts like people are still being sold into slavery around the world. Facts like children as young as 8 years old can be sucked into an underground market of sex trafficking. We don't like to admit the fact that this is happening not in third world countries across a big, wide ocean. This is happening in America. This is happening in Texas, or Oklahoma, or Washington. The truth is that human trafficking is the second largest moneymaker in the criminal world, second to selling illegal drugs, and it's on our shores. Human trafficking is a $32 billion global industry. The average age of someone trafficked is 12 to 14 years old. It's estimated that 2 children are sold into slavery every minute. Slowly, awareness is growing, and new movements are being established to create safe houses and rehabilitation sites for the thousands of women and children caught in this trap. Large organizations bent on cracking down on sex trafficking often reveal much needed but stunning revelations. A 2004 rescue operation in Oklahoma rescued 23 young people from forced prostitution at truck stops. This is happening in America. This is happening in our neighborhoods. But we can help stop it. We can move out of our state of indifference and become a voice. We can join forces with nonprofits, government agencies, and other organizations willing to take a strong stand against this modern day slavery. We can help, we can ensure that indifference does not destroy us. Thank you.
Great. What was the time on that?
2 minutes, 12 seconds.
So, good job. Good job. I liked how your hair was pulled back this
Did
time.
you see that?
Yeah.
Very
I
deliberate.
noticed that, and then you didn't have you didn't do the thing with your head and your hair that you did yesterday.
No.
So it made a huge difference.
But I really tried to memorize it too, so
Uh-huh.
I wasn't tied to something I had to look down on.
Oh,
And
good.
then that would kind of trip me up with needing to maybe get my eyes back up or clear my head again or
Yeah, your
something.
eye
So,
contact was great.
Yeah.
I thought you had really good eye contact.
yeah, memorizing it really helps.
Oh, good.
I think
And
you kind
did
of
use-
favored this side though a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Did you use any of those memorization techniques to try to create a story between one and the next?
I don't know if this was a memorization thing, but I trimmed down quite a bit because I felt like I had too much information for this topic and for 2 minutes, and I was just trying too hard to like give examples, give stats, give what's going on now. It was just too much. So I tried to really pare it down and give just a couple really maybe startling facts, and then a little bit about what's going on and a little bit about what I want you guys to care about now, and
Mhm.
kind of kept it at that. And that was easier for me to memorize because the transitions were better
Good.
on my notes,
Yes.
so
Good.
that helped a lot.
Good. So building in the transitions, and because I was going to say the organization was great, a really good example of that. And
Thanks.
remember those few statistics
Right.
really stand out and become more vivid because we're not getting lost in all of the other
Right.
information. Right. So
Right.
it's really effective.
Right.
And I liked your use of the repetition. This is happening in America. You said
Mhm.
that several different times, and it's another good rhetorical strategy. The more you can use a little phrase over and over again, it just punctuates, and
Right.
we're reminded of it, and we hear it in a different way in different times. So
Right.
really good.
Right.
Still a little bit more swaying, but you were more deliberate this time. So.
Yes.
And I think the memorization really helped you.
It did. It did.
Yeah. Did you feel more comfortable this time?
I did. Yeah, I felt a
Good.
lot more comfortable delivering this one than the other one.
Mhm. What do you think? What made a difference?
What was the
there?
reason? I don't know. The other one just was it was a lot of details, a lot of medical things. It was a lot of I couldn't remember the next point in like the treatment and the whatever. So it just felt more clunky. It felt
Mhm.
better, like written out. it
Mhm.
seemed great, but like delivering it
Yeah.
seemed awkward. So
Yeah.
I think one thing I've learned from this is don't just like write it to sound pretty, like
Yes.
speak it to sound good. So
It's a different technique.
yeah,
Mhm.
I like to write things out a lot more. I prefer writing over talking to people. Usually, like I'll always refer to emails instead of phone calls and stuff. So that really,
Mhm.
you know, that made me realize that through this class.
Great.
She made me wanna go home and grab my children.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
Yes,
Awful.
that's a good, you bring up a really good point, because that's what it is about the practicing, because it can sound really great when you write it out, but then when you deliver it, you realize that some words you're stumbling on, or it's just too many things to get
It's
to your main
just
point.
you chew on too much
So
stuff.
that's why,
Yeah.
and even you might even, if you don't necessarily feel comfortable, or if you don't have anyone you can perform in front of, you could videotape yourselves doing it and then say, wait a minute, I'm not sure, now that I can see this, you know, especially if it's an important presentation where you, you know, really wanna make a good impression, so that's a good point to keep in mind, so.
Right.
Awesome. Excellent.